convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Spend a lot of extra time waiting for the acolyte. I am gonna catch that fool. You will think I'm really cool. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you, catch you, catch you. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Oh, but I need some more super breed. Oh, but I need some more super breed.
Hello, MouseHunt. Welcome to Feedback Friday. Today is October 1st, 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Happy October, everybody. How's everybody in the chat doing this morning? Hello, Jonathan. And a few early arrivals today. Hello to everybody in the chat there as well that popped in early. A few waves. Lonely Sailor. Hello, Benjamin. Ben and Benjamin. Final Heart. Hello, hello. Gonzi. Liza, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Julie, hello. Hello, KDM. Michelle, always a pleasure to see you. Hopefully you're doing well today. Lady Nutsy, good morning to you as well. Kame Lawrence. Captain Mike. Hello, Captain Mike. Welcome aboard. Hannah, Eric, Julia, Snowy, Sean. A whole lot of hunters joining. Whoa, Dave's starting early. Hello. I think I am a minute or two early. I forget. I was having a little technical difficulty getting the intro music, Impress You, running. I couldn't hear it. I was confusing myself. But hello, everybody. Well, today, I thought we could touch base a little bit on Sky Palace treasure maps. Those came out quite recently. We've been kind of watching feedback coming through there. Any kind of quick questions, feedback as well. Thought we could touch base on that. Before we dig into a little bit of Halloween as well. It's October 1st. Everyone hopefully getting in the fall or autumn spirit here. Looking forward to a Halloween event. We have something brand new lined up this year. So I'll give a little sneak peek, get some early first impressions and sentiments, and kind of see what comes up from there as well. Happy spooky month, Dave. Ben, happy spooky month to you as well. There's definitely no shortage of Halloween items in the game that are spooky and scary. We tend to like to use those words as adjectives. Jonathan, are we looking at a Halloween event that splits up the existing mice into smaller groups so it's easier to target the ones you want? Hey, already lots of great Halloween questions. I'll give an early bird answer of yes. That's actually some interesting feedback we've had from other events. Birthday, Great Winter Hunt as well anyway. When we have all those event mice to split them up, seems like it's well appreciated as well. Makes mapping a heck of a lot easier as well. So why don't we transition? Tell you what, we'll dive into Halloween. Lots of Halloween questions coming in. First, before we dig into that, I'm going to bring Norm onto the stream. Dev Norm here. Relatively new. He's coming up on a year and a half here. He's been really involved in the Halloween event as well, along with many people on the team. But I've given a chance to introduce himself, and you guys can meet him here. So I'll bring him on board here if I hit the right button anyway. Hello, Norman. Good morning.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us on Feedback Friday. We'll dig into Halloween in a second, but maybe before we get to Halloween, maybe just kind of, say hello to everybody, introduce yourself, let them know a little bit about what you do on the team.
So, yeah, hello everyone. My name is Norm. Fine with me. So I've been here I started almost a year and a half ago, June of last year. I am a developer on MouseHunt. I've worked on quite a few releases at this point. But I worked on Ronza, I worked on the Spring Egg Hunt last year with the sort of revamping how that event worked and various other events. So I do a lot of programming, I do a lot of writing. Franco and I kind of split up a lot of the lore writing in the game right now. And I like to try to have my hand as many things as I can, including a lot of balancing and spreadsheet work and that kind of stuff. So whatever they allow me to do, I do, basically.
You quickly revealed yourself as a master wordsmith. If you've had a smile on your face while reading a description or something in the game, odds are Norman or Franco you may have to thank for the smile on your face.
It's a very fun game to write for. It is so rich.
Captain Mike says, sounds like an episode of Cheers, as we all say, hey, Norm.
When I was younger, I had a place I used to frequent, and every time I'd walk in, all the waiters would yell, Norm! So
everybody knew your name.
Yeah, it's true.
Lore Master Norman, says Swift in the chat.
I'll take it.
Well, Norman's been heavily involved in Halloween, along with lots of the team as well, but thought it was a great chance to meet everybody. We can dive into Halloween a little bit as well. No shortage of questions. I even noticed in the chat already what's coming after Halloween, so definitely a lot of forward-looking enthusiasm there, but we won't get too ahead of ourselves. But maybe to get us started here, so if last year, if you're playing the Halloween event, we've done the Ghost Ship format, and with some slight variations over the last few years. We decided to mix things up a little bit this year. What were some of the kind of motivations and inspiration there to try something new this year, Norm?
Well, Ghost Ships was fun, but Ghost Ships, I believe, has run for the last 4 years straight. And I would imagine that in many cases, an event that runs that long can tend to get a bit stale, and people tend to look for things new. But probably our main motivation for wanting to do something new is we kind of missed having a specific event location, because there's something special about knowing that all your friends are in the same place at the same time, accomplishing the same goals. It also certainly helps with friend hunts, and it just makes it that much more special in a lot of ways. That you're all working together for the same goal rather than doing your separate things. So that's kind of where the idea began, and then it was, well, so what can it be? So we went through a lot of different ideas until we found what we believe to be a very, very fun, exciting, and new idea.
There's definitely been some iteration along the journey, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of prototypes. Lots and lots of prototypes.
I like Ben's comment in the chat. You might call him Norman. Glon there says, yay.
So good.
Yay, cursed skulls returning. So Eagle Eye there spotted a cursed skull on the reward track there. So maybe tell us a little bit about the reward track. And you can see there's cursed skulls on the reward tracks. And I think we got feedback before about kind of what's new with cursed skulls this year.
Yeah, so the reward track is very much a standard reward track in that you will, as you progress through the game, through the event naturally, you will hit certain notches along the way and be able to claim specific rewards. So as you can see from the screenshot here, the first reward is a cursed skull. Now, the cursed skulls mostly function in the same way as they did last year, but with one major difference is that this year you can open them whenever you want. So there are 4 of them throughout the track, just like there were last year. Each one represents 1 week of the spooky aura, and once you have them in your inventory, you can choose to crush them at any time in the future. No limitations.
I think a lot of people were excited to pair that with Lunar New Year and doing maybe a Valorif push as well, kind of scratching a lot of to-do lists off their item, a lot of to-do items off their list there.
That is one thing in particular I will be doing. So
I might join you. We'll see if I'm ready. If not, maybe next year I'll do it. Hey, ScriptDev, welcome to the chat. Says, I called potions and stuff. That's definitely a big theme in the event as well as potions. Julia's noticing some avocado cheese, which may have one of the more humorous names, at least the ingredient to make it. I know I chuckled when I came across that. And Aaron, heyo, Aaron. Yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about the potions and just kind of hint at some of the reward structure, because that's kind of baked into a lot of the identity of the rewards.
Yeah, so we've obviously had the reward track that we just mentioned, but the other sort of reward structure of the event are these 5 special brand new potions, which function in a very different way than many of the other potions in the game. I'm not going to go into too many specifics because I don't want to spoil too much, but there will, as you progress through the event, you'll have the option to purchase any of these 5 potions, and the main idea behind them is they allow you to upgrade certain resources in the game from a base level tier to a much higher level tier, and all five potions are very distinctly different. And I believe that we'll be able to see some interesting choices for depending on what people's goals are. There's hopefully a little something for everyone.
I would just say, can you brew some familiar favorite potions as well?
Oh yeah, so you can brew almost any potion in the game. We sort of did an audit of all the potions that exist, and then sort of cut out some of the old event potions that aren't really used or active anymore. But other than that, there's almost every potion in the game can be purchased, for lack of a better word, based on your event progression, based on the items you're working towards brewing in the event. So you can use these to have your pick of whatever you want, whether it be an existing potion or one of the 5 new ones, or all 5 of the new ones, for that matter.
And I'll talk about brewing here. Ryan asks in the chat there, what's the main mechanic of the game this time? So maybe give a little bit of a hint at kind of what they're doing here. What's the narrative? Obviously, there's a lot of potions going on. So how's that all tie together?
All right. Well, as many of you know, I'm sure potions all come from cauldrons that witches brew. That's just a scientific fact. So we're not changing any science here. We're just sticking with the truth that we all know, the canon of the world. That the idea is you have these cauldrons and you need to put ingredients in them to produce items that will be able to allow you to exchange for these potions. So you are, in a sense, making the potions yourself, as opposed to, like, previously in the game, all potions were dropped by mice. Now you are in the ground floor, basically brewing these with the cauldrons you see before you.
Can learn to be an apprenticed alchemist a little bit, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Subra there asks, unlimited deadline to crush or only until 1 year before Halloween. So asking about cursed skulls. I think right now we're not planning on adding any restriction on when you can crush those, but maybe subject to change. But we'll see what kind of feedback is like afterwards. But certainly the plan is when you get those cursed skulls this year, you can hold on to them. You can use them at a moment of your choosing, which is definitely some very tempting moments over the next year to use them. But if we were ever to kind of make it so, hey, you have to use them or lose them, I think we definitely want to give players a heads up that that's coming, before kind of that date would approach.
Yeah, they right now they work pretty much exactly like something like a Chrome or a Slayer, or you earn it and then you've got it in your inventory, and whenever you choose to open that item, or in this case crush it, that's when it becomes active. There's no other limitations beyond that point currently.
Yeah. It's fun. You get to choose when you want to use it, and you want to use that advantage. Jason says, yo, right back at you. Ice Killer says, am I too late? Hello, Dave and Norman. Hello back to you, Ice Killer. You're not too late. Well, thank you for joining us. We're digging into a little bit of Halloween this year. Timothy says, potions useful after the event. Absolutely. So, as Norman kind of alluded at, you're brewing these potions. They're going to be in your inventory. You can use them after the event. They do not kind of go away or anything like that. The kind of the final potion you brew. a lot of them are familiar favorites. So, whether it's a wind or a rain potion or something that you can use somewhere else in the game, hey, it's just in your inventory right alongside all the other potions that you got through normal means. So they don't go anywhere. And then there's 5, as Norman mentioned, 5 brand new kind of extra special ones that do something special. And as well, you can hold on to those, use them at the moment of your choosing. ScriptDev says brew charm potions. That's actually interesting. So now, Norman, there's been a bit of a technical overhaul. I know Giorgio kind of rolled up his sleeves, fine-tuned a few engines here and there, and rewrote a lot of ancient potion code that I think was almost a decade, if not older, to allow potions to be a lot more robust. So, I don't know, can you hint at maybe how potions are going to be a little bit different going forward, or new kind of capabilities that we have in our hands when it comes to designing potions?
Yeah, so that was actually a very important point at the early design stages, where we had these ideas for these types of potions that we wanted, and it was okay, well, can we do this? So we sort of dug into the potion system and how it works, and initially the way it was designed was that I believe there could be multiple inputs but only one output type. So for example, something like a radioactive blue potion, you could input different types of cheese, but you could only ever get out radioactive blue. Also, I believe there were sort of quantity limitations where if you input 2 of something, then you would output 2 of something, and those were sort of locked in place. Well, as Dave was saying, Giorgio sort of pulled up his sleeves and went in and dug into that and refactored a lot of it so that now we have much more freedom. We can basically make the input or the output whatever we want. We can have certain amounts turn into a completely different amount, and the possibilities are pretty much endless. So we've tried to run with that idea and make some fun potions that will convert some things that you wouldn't otherwise think of. I mean, for one thing, I believe all the existing potions as of right now in the game are all cheese potions. Well, not any longer.
Be able to pour them on new and strange things to produce new and strange things. Swift in the chat there says, who knew the laboratory outsourced to witches? Well, I mean, maybe we should have grabbed the map image. If you watched Feedback Friday, I think it was a few weeks ago, I don't quite remember, it was fairly recently, Jacob illustrated the new location for Halloween. Actually, that's something good to touch on as well. So, like you might be used to with the Great Winter Hunts, always in that same spot on the map. The birthday event, as of recently, the Super Brew Factory has ascended and descended out of the Rodentia Ocean, and so you always visit that location. Similarly, this year, where is Halloween taking place, Norman?
So Halloween, so for those of you who didn't happen to watch that Feedback Friday, is taking place in those strange woods north of the Toxic Spill. We've only ever seen sort of the entry line of trees there. We've never really explored beyond there, but now we're going to go deep into those mysterious and gloomy woods and find out what's going on. So it is appropriate that it is right near the laboratory. It's just in the backyard, you might even say.
Ryan here asks, are the rewards just on the reward track, or the potions also provide rewards? I think we touched on it a bit, and but also asking, how many cursed skulls can they get?
4, same as last year. So if you complete the reward track all the way, which takes a bit of work, you can get the 4 skulls, each of which corresponds to 1 week of the aura. So a maximum of 4 weeks of aura.
Hey, Chong says, Dave and Norman Feedback Friday is awesome. Glad you're enjoying, Chong. Thank you for joining us as well. Hey, Tyler there in the chat says, Vet returning after a many-year break. Hate that you've missed so many years, but you're happy to be back. This event looks like so much fun. Well, happy you're back. Happy hunting, Tyler. Thanks for joining us. Glad to hear you say it looks fun. For sure, the art team as well has just done a fantastic job putting together all the creative aspects of this, all the visuals. There was a whole lot to pour through. Liz, who's a relatively new artist on the team, she put a lot of work into designing the interface and kind of bringing everything to life, and it feels very immersive, especially when you put it together with the map illustration Jacob did. It feels like you're stepping inside a little a hut to do some witch brewing there. As well as the entire art team, the cheese and everything. I know we had a hard time, Norm, didn't we, picking out just kind of 2 things to showcase. We have a ghost pepper below me, and there's a cheese that it makes. I'll let you pronounce the cheese because I struggle with it, Norman. What's the cheese called that's
So,
under you?
so it's I believe it's the proper pronunciation is poltergeitost, but it's spelt like Geitost, and I think it can be pronounced Geitost. It's a Norwegian cheese. It's apparently very popular in Norway, the Geitost, not the Polter version. But the spelling was just too good. It was just too good that we just had to use it as soon as we discovered that on. We had to put it into the game. So yeah, I believe I call it Poltergeitost, so that's good enough for me, I think. But I believe it's Yay Toast.
I think I just say poltergeist every time and just rolls out there. So I'm just hunting with poltergeists.
With the many
cheese
dev
form,
shorthands that we just call things that aren't quite accurate, or they're a much earlier version than they were. So we'll have to sort of cleanse that from our vocabulary.
Question in the chat here. Jeffrey asks if the Gorgonzola and the candy corn cheese, are they still going to have any use? And I guess for that matter, any old Halloween cheese, what can you use those for in the event, Norman?
Yeah, so if you have a look at the HUD here, the first tier, the one on the far left, says basic. So basic bait is where it all begins. Any previous year's Halloween cheese, so Ghastly Gallion Gouda, Lockbox Limburger, the two that you just mentioned, all of those can be used to in that first tier of bait, and they will function exactly like Super Breed does. Has the same encounter pool and that kind of thing. So if you have a bunch of those old cheeses, by all means, use those for your first tier, for like when you first get into the event. I know I'll be using up my Ghastly Gallion Gouda from last year for sure.
A couple of kind of some good questions in the chat here as well. Ryan asks, was randomness added to the potions? So is there any sort of kind of like almost drop table feeling to the potions, or is it pretty predictable what they make?
No, if you're referring to the new potions, no, it is very predictable. So it's in that sense, it works the same as the previous potions, in that when you pull up the list of options, it is exact. This will always get you that, depending on the quantities you put in and stuff like that. So no, there's no randomness in that. Is what you see is what you get.
A lot in the chat here. I'm losing my place, but Tyler, asking for a link to the live drawing recordings. Well, if you go to our channel. If you scroll down a little bit, it was a fairly recent one. So if you look for one that says Feedback Friday or FBF Art Edition, you'll have Jacob doing a live illustration. And one of the more recent ones was doing the illustration of the map. I think he did a trap skin last time. So maybe you might have to go back 3 or 4 episodes. He did a Chrome School of Shark skin last week that turned out quite humorous. And it was actually fun watching the creative process, getting suggestions from the chat. Watching it take shape. They explored a couple different options that weren't quite working, but they landed on something pretty cute, I think. So leading to the chicken feet. Indeed, I almost want to move the background illustration up. If you tuned in earlier, if you're waiting for the stream to start, you got to see the whole splash. And there's definitely some chicken feet are involved. Kit says, first time here, what did you miss? Well, we're just getting a little sneak peek at Halloween, but thank you for joining us, Kit. Scribdev says, have to say this theme is super strong. Are there plans to expand on this in future Halloween events? Well, I'll say, pending player feedback, we definitely kind of like to be able to reuse events and grow and iterate upon them over time. Has that kind of gone into some of the design decisions, Norm?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, if this event is as successful and well received as we hope it to be, then there are many avenues in which we can take it next year once we've got a little bit more leeway, given that all the groundwork has been laid out and all the brunt work has been done. But there are many fun things that we can do to add on and expand upon and improve this. But so hopefully you all like it, and if you do, there'll be more and better things next year.
And definitely there was lots of ideation going around about the new potions to add, and so some kind of were cut for time or need a little more play testing to really tune them, so it'll be great almost getting player feedback as the event unfolds and getting lots of great suggestions will come up for other unique potions to brew during Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
ALV there asks, do you still do trick and treat Halloween events? So one day that would be nice to revisit. I know maybe I don't know how much is nostalgia, but I certainly feel like the ability to trick or treat on friends' profiles was a whole lot of fun. I miss that too. This event does not have any trick or treating profiles, but it would be nice, certainly nice to explore that in the future. Just kind of keep bringing up those suggestions as well, because I know I would love to. I don't know if it's just nostalgia, but I would love to kind of do that again. Ryan says, this sounds like a brilliant fresh breath through, though. Sounds fun. Great to hear.
Thank you.
Ben says, why don't we make this combo FBF the norm? I don't know if that pun was intentional or not. But, yeah. Ice Killer says, I will say the ghost pepper looks awfully cute. Was it Lauren that illustrated the ghost pepper?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so good. Honestly, all the ingredients are just so fun. And it's nice now that I think not too long ago, we had released an update where now when you look at things in like the lexicon and stuff like that, you get a much higher resolution version of it. And oh man, like there's some really juicy stuff. Like I often will just click on the items again and again just to like admire the fine details that go into it and the things I missed the first time around. And they were really fun to write descriptions for. That's for sure.
Yeah. Our team has a knack for cute illustration. Just sometimes putting a face on something in just the right way, and it is instantly a cute little item. Scribdev asks, is there a Baba Yaga mouse? Well, maybe you can allude at, so hey, there's a whole new environment that you're hunting in, you're setting up your camp. Kind of, narrative-wise, is there a new antagonist to defeat this year?
Yeah, well, we, I guess it's not much of a see, it's in the YouTube description here, so I might as well just go ahead and say that, yes, the new boss for this year is Baba Gaga. Spooky.
Brian's a little late. It looks like Brian's watching on fast forward mode. I do like that YouTube feature with the live streams. You can start at the beginning, go at 2x speed. So he's listening to us in full-blown chipmunk mode. Good luck, Brian. Hope you catch up soon by the time you read this or listen to this. Limbomber says, are there any changes to the spooky shuffle or just a new drop table? That's a great question as well. Have we spruced up the shuffle at all?
So gameplay-wise, there are no changes. It still functions exactly the same way, but we have added a few extra rewards to match with from the floating islands in the Sky Palace, actually, because those are both popular areas. And last year, when Halloween came around, the floating islands was still very new. I think it had only been out about a month at that point, or maybe 2 months at most. But yeah, so we've added a few more floating islands rewards into the Spooky Shuffle for our players who are at the top tier, the Duke and up tier, I believe it is. But otherwise, you will play the game the same way. You just might see some fun new stuff in it.
Fantastic. Lee's asked, is there an expiry date on the skulls? That's quite the popular question. So, again, no, this different this year. There's no expiry on the skulls, so you'll earn them. You can keep them in your inventory, use them at a moment of your choosing. If there were to ever be an expiry date, not that there's one planned, we would give players heads up as well. If it's kind of ever a lose it before you use it, or use it before you lose it. Lose it before you use it doesn't sound very productive at all. We'll definitely give a heads up there, but sure, you will not. When you get them from Halloween, you can hold on to them. I know a lot of players are maybe very excited to use them during Lunar New Year, so combine it with the luck bonus of the track. Maybe just kind of put that power bonus to use in new creative ways. A couple questions here about maps. And definitely I think there's something new in the plans there, because the rewards would be quite different. So I think it was an interesting opportunity for some map stuff. What do you have planned there?
So so we will be having maps for the event. It is actually the event worked very well because every mouse is only attracted to a certain type of cheese, so that the pools are very specific. So it works well with mapping, because you always know that, like, if I'm going after this mouse, I need this cheese in order to do it. So it works very well in that sense. So with the maps, there'll be two maps. There'll be a trick map and a treat map. So it's not quite the trick or treat profile, but it's a small nod to it, I guess. And one will be the easier version, and that will use higher tiers of cheese. But yeah, and they're fun. They fit very well with the event, and they have some pretty nice rewards in them.
Hey, great. Like I said kind of earlier, it's been, I think, a lot of positive feedback. Anytime we can have an event map and split the event mice up. Over the years, there are just an extraordinarily large number of event mice now, especially the Great Winter Hunt reigns supreme with a lot of mice. So even just adding them all as an encounter with kind of equal sort of chance to attract, they're all rare individually when you think about it, because when you have 50 mice, that means they're each 2% chance, even if you weight them all equally. So that means they're all pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler says, please refine the mobile app more. There's a lot it lacks compared to the full site. And the watch integration not working properly. Well, I can chime in that Param, who does a lot of work on the mobile app, that is kind of one of his passion projects right now. He's exploring getting the watch integration going so you can sound the horn from the watch. It is, MouseHunt's kind of neat. It's one of the few games where you can kind of realistically play it quite a bit from just a watch, because it's clicking a single button every 15 minutes until you need to kind of, return and change your setup a bit. Chalk asks if there are any tournaments planned during the event. Kind of, where did we land there, Norman?
No. It's tough because, you know what, in many ways it would be a good tournament event, given the way that it's structured. But unfortunately, the tournaments right now are just a bit too problematic, especially event tournaments that exist in a specific location. That system just needs a bit of an overhaul. And, I was leery about what happened with during Great Winter Hunt last year, when there were just so many people going to the tournaments that just it was like dropping a meteor on Narnia. So we're going to avoid it for this year, and maybe if we have the the bandwidth between now and next year, we'll be able to put it back in. But as of this year, there will not be any tournaments for Halloween.
Kelvin asking, I think maybe somebody mentioned this earlier, but asking when the event will land. So I think we're in pretty good shape there. We're looking to kind of wrap up some loose ends. Today is sort of our goal on Friday. We tend to have a weekly goal, or kind of maybe a fortnight goal of 2 weeks at a time. But today, kind of the big goal is firming everything up into release candidate territory. So we did a lot of beta testing. Kind of our alpha was a long time ago now. I did quite a bit of tweaking and tuning, I think, this week. That's for sure. Hey, Norman?
Oh, yeah. That's an understatement, yeah.
But yeah, found a lot more kind of fun to tune in there this week. But definitely it's going to be pencils down, I think, by the end of the day. And next week is sort of a little bit more of a chill moment where we sit down and we play. What are you doing this week? I'm going to play MouseHunt, basically. And we'll sit down, keep playing through it, and just look for little things without kind of adding anything new to it, because that's kind of scary territory. So it's in the not too distant future. I don't know if we're quite ready for a release date, but maybe next week we can organize a little announcement. But that should be a pretty strong hint at kind of when it maybe might drop. Is that vague enough? Could it be more vague there, Norman? Was it vague enough?
It might exist sometime between now and that, we can say for certain.
Yeah, okay. And if you try to look at the date, it may change its state, and then we got to reschedule it. So it's a coming. It's almost there. I think we're going to wrap everything up next week. And so then the following week, we won't really have any Halloween stuff to do. So we'll see how that goes. Gonzi there. Kind of a bit of a shift there. A search function for maps, please. It's on the way. Happy to report as well with Relic Hunter. Pretty sure a search is in the box. Hopefully I'm not putting undue stress on somebody out there. But with the Relic Hunter update, we often use it as a good opportunity to add some quality of life improvements. Last year, we added the community maps section as a very sort of MVP basic version to see if anyone used it. People have been using it. Even this week, I've been kind of scrambling to get my Relic Hunter maps done, so I've been using it a little bit as well. And so a search function is definitely long overdue. At least filter. We're going to try to do as much as we can to be able to find the map you're looking for easier, the type of map, filtering out maybe full maps, because usually you don't want to submit an invite request to a full map unless there's something very niche going on. Andy asks about Halloween. What is the distribution of Halloween mice? Last year, certain boss-like mice were very hard to attract, particularly if you didn't have the old Hollow Boss cheese. I would think we're in a pretty good spot with that now, with the variety of cheese we have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for one thing, it's much more predictable. Like actually, last year was my first Halloween in MouseHunt, and there was one mouse I didn't get. Unfortunately, didn't even realize it until after the event ended because it was only in like a low, an area that was lower than where I was. So I never thought to go there to look for it. This year, it's much more predictable. There is something built into the HUD that shows you exactly what you need to attract each mouse. Like the pools are listed in a very clear and concise way, which I love. So understanding that is very clear. The number of mice in each pool varies a little bit, although it is consistent for the most part. But the challenge will be attaining the cheese in which to get the mice, not trying to figure out how to get the mice. So I think that'll be a much more welcomed change.
Yeah, definitely kind of has similar vibes to other sort of mouse hunt challenges and areas out there of kind of tiered cheese progression, but with a twist, with a spooky twist. Q asks, will old Halloween weapons like the Terrifying Spider have their special bonus luck effects in the new Halloween location? You might know better than me there, Norman, if old set effects. If not, we may need to put a little audit list. Maybe we'd have to check that out a little closer.
I will be looking into that after feedback. I believe so, but I don't want to say for sure. But I will look into it this afternoon.
I think one of the tasks we do is we're kind of wrapping up, getting ready to release something. We call it review existing content. And it's this giant checklist of basically anytime we've ever forgotten to do something, it goes on this list. And depending on the release, sometimes it is 5 minutes to go through and review the list. Sometimes it's 5 days to go through and review the list, depending on how many things get picked up. But a lot of like the set effects have made their way onto that list. And I think even I overheard Franco mentioning something along those lines. He was looking at kind of different Halloween combination effects, especially with charms and what have you. So. How long is the event, asks Ryan. Well, we're definitely... is it 3 or 4 weeks, Norman? Do you remember?
It's 3 weeks plus a 1 week.
That's 1 week shutdown, right? Yeah. If you've ever watched Feedback Friday before, you know I'm infamously poor with dates and calendars. I don't know what it is. I tend to say the wrong date. Sometimes I get the year wrong. Actually, in my to-do list, I noticed I had the year wrong for the last 3 weeks. I was just scrolling through. I still thought it was 2020. I don't know. Time doesn't move forward. But this event will need a shutdown phase because you're collecting items and you're brewing together rewards. So toward the end, you may have some items left over that you want to continue to brew. And so to similar in other events, things stop dropping, but you can keep making output occur. So you can try to have 1 week to use up anything you didn't. Reaper asking, can we remove the gourd charms from the spooky shuffle? I've even jotted that down, so we'll kind of take that into consideration, but I may not be totally opposed to that either, so I might advocate for that as well. Will the undead Minorca skin pattern be in the Halloween area? We have to kind of dig into how that was obtained. We can jot that down as well, though.
Actually, that brings up one thing that might be of interest, is that if you recall the previous year, like last year's Halloween treasure maps, you would get the old Halloween skins in the map, and which led to a lot of people getting the same skin over and over because we just sort of get a random skin. So this year we've taken those out of the maps and put them into the Trapsmith, that you can so you can purchase them with some of the event ingredients. So you kind of, if there's something you're missing or something, you can choose to spend some of your event progress on getting those rather than just ending up with 10 of the same skin just because you play a lot of maps.
A little more control and autonomy over what you get as well. You kind of end up with triplicates and you're missing the one you actually want. Daniel says Dave always gets the date wrong. He says Dev always gets the date wrong. I'm just Dave. I don't know what it is. The numbers all jumble on me as soon as I look at a calendar. I think maybe because I'm usually multitasking when I'm looking at a calendar. I'm trying to think about a question somebody asked me while I'm also trying to process a date, and I don't know, I guess smoke comes out of my ears and my brain can't handle it. I don't know. Final Heart asks, will there be Spooky Shuffle tickets in the map rewards? Off the top of your head, Norman, do you know maybe where you kind of earn a few Spooky Shuffle tickets here and there?
I'm going to say yes, because I'm pretty confident. Those rewards have been sort of iterated over a few times, so I'm pretty confident that there are tickets in the chests, at least in the rare chests. But I think there might even be a chance of tickets in the other ones. Don't ask me how many, because I can't off the top of my head. Franco would know for sure, because I think he was working on that recently. But I'm like 90% confident that there are at least some shuffle tickets in the map chests.
We're really putting him on the spot.
Yeah.
Said Franco would know, but whether he tells you the correct answer, it will be yet to be seen. He say, yeah, don't worry, there's 4,000 in the chest. Yeah, what? Franco.
Yeah.
Well, shall we do the trivia question? Are we all ready for that? Let me just make sure I have the answer hidden before we go here. Done that once or twice. All right. Yes. Sweet. All right. So let me just switch over here. This week's trivia question, and if anyone in the chat gets it right, which I'm sure somebody will, it's been a while since we've stumped anybody, there'll be a reward link as well from Larry, is what was the first Halloween mouse and when was it released? 48 is incorrect. There's been a few guesses of 48.
It's close, though. It is pretty close.
Hollowhead. In 2008, I think Swift is the first person with the correct answer. Pretty sure that's right. Let me look at the answer.
Is that the right year?
Is that the right year? I think that is the right year. Let's just double check. Yes. I mean, bonus marks here before we reveal the answer if you can get the date correct. Spoiler alert, MouseHunt Wiki timeline. Thank you, MouseHunt Wiki editors, for your ongoing diligence. I refer to that timeline. I got it at least once a week. At least once a week I'm on that timeline. So thank you for keeping that up to date.
I spend so much time on the wiki. So much time.
October 27, 2008, Chung is a seasoned MouseHunt Wiki lookup. Yes, it was the Hollowhead mouse on October 27, 2008, which was shortly after the release of MouseHunt version 2. It was way back in 2008. I'll get that reward link in the chat as well. Copy, paste it. If my mouse cooperates, there we go. Sign into chat. I'm signed in over here. I sure am. So drop the reward link in the chat for a little something Halloween themed. But yeah, that was right after the release of version 2.0. I'm pretty sure that was at the start of October in 2008. That was, I think, just 6 months after initial launch, or 6 to 8 months. We released in March, and I guess in October there was a rewrite. And basically, as we transformed a lot of kind of entry-level first stab at the programming world code into something a little bit more robust that could scale, as we found, hey, people are playing this game. The code could not handle the number of people playing the game, and we had to very quickly learn how to write code that would work with lots of people trying to access it at the same time. Which held its own for quite a bit until 3.0 came around, and that it was even more scalable, a little easier to maintain as well. And then who knows what the future has on hold. Yeah, Ryan says version 3 has basically become permanent MouseHunt. It's actually 11 years old. That sounds like it's due for a fresh coat of paint. And Brian with the joke as always, thanks for the 2 ribs. I thought it was supposed to be 20. Huh. Yes, super spooky charms. Some hunters in the chat are claiming. It is correct. That is super spooky charms. Christopher, can you make Caloringus ribs easier to get? Well, not as easy as a Larry reward link, but every catch gets you a little bit closer. Christopher, use the marketplace. That is an option, eh? Even if you're not in the queso geyser, every mouse you capture gets you a little bit of gold to get you closer to a rib. So you can almost think every gold piece in the game is like a little fraction of a rib, and you slowly can collect enough to claim a rib. Rift Spooky Charm variant soon. Is there only one? There's just the base level one, right?
Yeah, it's just the Rift Spooky. Not for this year.
Go back to enjoying the ghost pepper and poltergeist. I can't pronounce it. It's poltergeist cheese. Sorry, Norman. It's poltergeist cheese to me.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, they would be really, really useful for things in like high-level Valor Rift runs. Yeah, absolutely. That might be a good note, maybe even for next year. I think it'd be too late to add one this year. But often what we do as part of a release, especially events, we'll make our milestone for next year. Like already, there's a 2022 Halloween being organized in some very preliminary fashion. And it's where we log all the suggestions. Actually, it's been very useful. Recently, we are organizing the Great Winter Hunt for December. And sure enough, last year, a lot of player feedback, suggestions, and things that came up. We just go ahead and we log them all as part of sort of that project for the next year. And as we go to pull it together, they just naturally kind of rise to the top and become a topic of conversation. So that might be worth jotting down for next year. Once again, great artwork. Yeah, pass it along to the whole art team. They did a fantastic job. Like I said, Liz put a lot of effort into the HUD. Looks great. The map as well. I'm thoroughly enjoying that Jacob put together, and Lauren did so many cute little items and cheese as well that just is a delight to even just look at an arm and see on your trap.
Yeah, I would say the theming of this event is very strong. Everything just worked so nicely together. All the ingredients and the area and lore and Baba Gaga herself and everything. Just so great what everyone's done. And speaking of which, I noticed a couple people in the chat asking about there's going to be any LE traps. And I don't want to give away too much, but I'll say yes, there will be an LE trap and an LE base. And their special effects will be thematically appropriate.
Script Dev says, really looking forward to jumping into this event. Just watch out you don't jump into one of those boiling cauldrons while you're at it, and just to the left or to the right.
Oh, I just realized. I guess we better put a caution hot on the cauldrons.
Yeah, not suggested for human consumption. Mouse consumption only. Don't drink this. Art asks, what is the launch date of the Halloween event? Well, it's coming up. Next week, we're putting the finishing touches on it. And then if all goes according to plan, it won't be too long after that. So it's coming. Russell asks, will past Lunar New Year collectible masks be made available during Lunar New Year event? We did do an audit a little while ago, and actually, if I remember correctly, Scribdev, who was in the chat, that was kind of something he brought up on a Feedback Friday, was there was a few gift items and collectibles that just kind of haven't been around in a long time. We dug deep, we audited everything, put together this big spreadsheet of every collectible in the game, sourced out where it came from and the last time it was available, found all the outliers, hopefully, and we've scheduled for all the event-based ones to be added. So even this year, I think the work's already done. I think the Candy Cat Mouse drops the Candy Apple collectible, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah, I think so.
And there's a few other ones, and similar Lunar New Year, Great Winter Hunt, the birthday, they all kind of got that treatment. There's a few that even became just permanent fixtures. I think Larry's Sandwich was kind of quite the outlier, and now just the Cook Mouse has a chance to drop it if you do not have a Larry's Sandwich. So kind of as we complete that one more cycle of event season, all the collectibles will be available in some way, shape, or form. Param, LOL, nice cauldron joke, Dave. Hey, Param, how you doing? Dev Param is joining us as well. We're giving hats off to your great mobile work earlier as well, Param.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson is saying, I may have been saying something that's already been said, but what are the chicken's feet holding the Halloween portrait? Will we have to wait for the event to start, Norman, or do you think? Yeah.
I think if you dig into a little bit of the around the character that the boss is based upon, you'll find the answer to that question.
Yeah, I think I was right. It was Scribdev who brought that up because now in the chat they say looking forward to getting all the collectibles. So, great. Well, shall we wrap things up, Norman? Anything else you want to cover, touch base on?
Well, I mean, there's so many fun things I want to talk about, but I don't want to spoil, so we should probably end it before I spoil something that I did too. Yes.
All right. Well,
but it's been fun. Thanks for having me on your show, Dave.
Absolutely. Hey, it's ours. So happy to have you. Thanks for taking some time. All the kind of hard work yourself, the entire team. Obviously, big team effort behind everything. Just putting together Halloween. I know I've been having fun playing it. Last kind of week or two, I've had a lot more time to dig in, start play testing. There's been a lot of kind of elated cries of fun and enjoyment as we kind of play through everything. So just it's all coming together. It's been looking great, and I can't wait to play it and see players go through it as well and experience it.
Yeah, same here.
Well, Hunters, I think we're going to wrap things up here. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Feedback Friday. You can look forward to Halloween event is coming pretty soon. Probably we'll have a release date ready next week. So, I mean, that's a pretty vague hint that the week following that maybe we're going to be in good shape. But we're just yet to sign off on everything. So hopefully next week we'll be able to share the more firm date. But look forward to a brand new Halloween event coming. Has its own dedicated location on the map, similar to other events, brand new rewards, lots of fun stuff to look forward to. Dave and Norm in the morn.
Dave and Norman in the morning. Good little community reference there, Parm. Thank you.
Jingle writes itself.
Yeah.
All right, well, have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, weekend, whatever you're happening, whatever time of day it is for you, whatever you're going to embark upon next. Hope it goes well. Thanks for joining us, Hunters. Probably next week will probably be Jacob, so you can tune in for some live art as well. And I'll catch you next time. Once again, thank you for joining me, Norman. Hope you had a good time.
Oh, my pleasure. I had a great time.
Great. Well, I'll see you next time, Hunters.
You're a trap, don't seem to mind it. You attract me. I'm a mouse, you're a cat. I don't seem to mind it. Soft and furry. Oh, and just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Just when you think you're safe, snap. I come back. You don't seem to mind it, but I'm a fool. Broke my back. You don't seem to mind it, 'cause you're so cool. And just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. And just when you think you're safe, snap. Turns out